folks, welcome back to another video. What I thought I'd do this evening was just talk a little bit, mostly talk, and I don't intend to bore you, but I've had a couple conversations, with a couple different people. I've seen some stuff all around Facebook in the past week or so, with things to do, with Firecraft, and I always tend to get a chuckle when I least expect it. And what I mean by that is, it's almost like people go out of their way to badmouth, not necessarily other people, but the products they may use, the knife they may use, stuff like that. And I typically get a laugh out of it because, to me at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if you have the latest and greatest gear. Yeah, it's nice to have, but it's certainly not needed in the stuff that we do. The more knowledge you hold in your head to where you can fabricate a lot of this stuff on your own is all the better, in my opinion. But one of the topics that I've seen a lot lately is feather sticks. And I had a particular conversation with a gentleman specifically, again, talking about feather sticks, and I'll just throw it out there that yes, I've made feather sticks over the years, but it's not something that I practice, to be honest with you. Now, feather sticks play a huge role in Firecraft, and rightfully so. Some of the big names out there have used them all along. Ray Mears is huge with feather sticks. And it's a good skill to have. It's good to be able to make a proper feather stick, and proper being defined, I would say, in your own terms, because as long as it works, it doesn't really have to be anything fancy. Where I think a feather stick comes into play is sort of in between your bird's nest or tinder bundle and kindling. Now, again, most of you guys know I'm up here in the Northeast. I mean, there's pine absolutely everywhere, as well as birch. And I've said this probably in every other video I've shot here on YouTube, that those are my go-to materials for fire. And because I have them, they should be, So again, like, I see comments, is what I should say, of people, kind of talking that down. And, I test my skills the best I can in the weather, rain, snow, stuff like that. But it doesn't always have to be so difficult. But you should push yourself, in controlled environments, so should you need it in the future, it's a little bit easier for you. But to say that I'm practicing with birch or cedar or pine or any of those is not really, testing my skills, is pretty much nonsense. I mean, why would you say that when those are the resources I have readily available to me? I don't need to go out and find a piece of hickory or a piece of oak and throw it in the river and practice my skills. I wouldn't do that in a situation where I'd need it. And like I said, I mean, you're looking at a pine tree here, here, and here. 3 within arm's reach of me. I mean, it's just everywhere in the Northeast. So back to the feather sticks. Again, I was talking with this gentleman, and he doesn't have the resources that I have here in the Northeast. He's got, I think, 1 pine tree, he said, that was planted by a neighbor or something like that. So pines are pretty much out of the question in his neck of the woods. They don't have birch, any cedar in his immediate area. So pretty much what he's looking at is hardwoods. So what does he use for tinder? Well, all the normal stuff, your dried grasses, dried flower tops, all that type of stuff that, we've talked about in numerous videos. But when it comes winter time and most of that stuff's gone, then what do you do? Other than some store-bought emergency type tinder. Well, that's where I think a feather stick, plays a huge role. You'll still be able to grab, enough material with the dried grasses and stuff like that, even in the winter time, and I think I've done that in videos as well. pretty sure I have. But you're probably not going to gather up enough in your immediate area to make a good sized bird's nest or a good sized tinder bundle. So in lieu of your skeleton pine branches that are low, you know, pencil size and smaller, to go along with your good bird's nest, get you a nice coal bed, and then you start adding your bigger fuel to that. In areas like this gentleman's area, a feather stick would be huge. You know, you have a marginal bird's nest, something small in nature, but by creating that feather stick, it greatly increases your chances of getting fire, because you've gone in between bird's nest type material and kindling type material with a combustible material. So that's going to get your bigger stuff going in lieu of the items I just discussed. So you know, I mentioned Ray Mears. I think probably some of the best feather sticks I've ever seen were my buddy Mitch, Native Survival. He's an absolute master at feather sticks. I mean, I think he's got a video on his channel, The Feather Log. I mean, these things look like daggum chia pets. They're so, you know, full of curls. It's incredible. And again, I don't practice that because I don't need to. But there again, Mitch and I live in the same area. We're both up here in the Northeast with the same resources. And, you know, a feather stick to him is like, you know, flour to bread. I mean, it goes with it, you know, for him, and he's phenomenal at it. So you know, that's my little spiel on feather sticks. You can check out Mitch. I'm sure most of you guys know him anyways. Native Survival. He does feather sticks all the time. You probably won't find a video where he doesn't do one in it. Maybe you will, but just good stuff there. So again, you know, don't let, I guess my point to this whole discussion here is, don't let people get you down. Don't let people try to give you a sales pitch on a particular item. You know, you don't need the Woodsman trapper knife to go out here and survive. That's not the case. You don't need the Woodsman school knife, you know, and I've said this again in many videos. You can get by with whatever you have on you as long as you're practicing with it and getting comfortable with that knife or whatever that object may be, a certain fire steel or something like that. So you know, just keep that in mind and don't let people sell you something. So I'm gonna go over here to my fire pile and probably do something you guys have never seen me do. But does it mean I'm not out here practicing? Absolutely not, because at the end of the day, if I was stuck in a situation, this would probably be the reality of how I do this. So I got some half-assed feather sticks and some curls that I've taken off of that, and I got an itty bitty pile of birch bark, just a small pile. Didn't go out of my way to collect it, just grabbed what was readily available, you know, a minute or so, and there it was. So, you know, survival situation, bam, there's the Bic lighter. Throw some curls over this and get them going. And the good thing about a feather stick is I don't really need that kindling, that small pencil size and smaller type stuff. I can go right to fuel with these because they burn so hot. Just like the pine kindling does, but again, not everybody has that. So I'm going right to fuel here. Grab some of these loose curls, throw them right back on top. Add some more fuel. And I mean, you can see the stuff I'm throwing on here. It's all fuel. Nothing small about it. Not to mention it's poured out here for the last 2 days. It rained so hard today on the way home. I couldn't even see the hood of my truck. Had to slow right down. It's barely moving. So there it is. You know, Bic lighter. Probably the way I'd actually do it. So again, this is actually practicing a skill too. If this is what I would intend on doing, you know, I can practice the bow drill and the flint and steel and all that stuff all I want to, but this is probably going to be the reality of it. So practice that too, right? Why not? You know, flames get a little higher, add a little more wood. Easy stuff. Easy. Yes, that's pretty much it, guys. Quick video. Talk about Firecraft a little bit. Feather sticks, stuff like that. Again, you know, don't be fooled. Get out there, do it yourself. You know, if you have to use a stone and sharpen your mama's butter knife to get out there and practice, you know, whatever it takes. But I appreciate you joining me for this one. Thanks for your views, your comments, and your support, as always. We'll see you soon with another one. Take care. That was just a quick feather stick. Nothing fancy like some of the ones that you guys make out there.